So I want to get shot by a dying will bullet to be able to do anything that I want without any difficulty, but because I don't have any regrets and it's basically a get out of jail free card, and again, I have no regrets, I can die. And that's exactly what Tsuna learned in this chapter of Katekyo Hitman Reborn, chapter 2. So after, beating Mochida in the previous chapter, he gained a little confidence or a little cockiness because as soon as he goes to school, everyone is praising Suna on his win because nobody would have expected that no good Suna was capable of doing the things that he was able to do and beating one of the toughest upperclassmen in the school. So Suna's just like, man, this feels nice. I mean, why wouldn't it? He's no good in academics, he's no good in athletics, he's basically no good in everything. He's below average. So to get all of this praise and consideration from all of his classmates and the entire school is going to boost his confidence, making him feel like I'm on top of the world. And quickly reality hits. So because of his great performance against one of the toughest students in the school, his classmates asked him, "Hey Suna, because of what you did last time, we think you'll be a great fit for our upcoming volleyball match against one of the other classrooms, and we would like you to join." So Suna's just like, man, if I did what I did against Machida Senpai, I can go do it again for a volleyball match. So he quickly said yes. And he goes around the school trying to search for Reborn, and Reborn, we find out that Reborn has multiple bases in the school. I don't know when he had time to do that because it just felt like yesterday he just came into Japan and somehow he made the school one of his secondary or third homes. Like that was crazy because he was located in like a fire hydrant cabinet making tea or coffee, if you will. And Suna asks him, "Hey, Reborn, can you shoot me one more time with the dying will bullet?" Now we quickly to find out that the dying will bullet has certain properties about it, right? So from the first chapter, we come to find out is obviously you must have regrets before you are shot. And once you have regrets and you are shot by the dying will bullet, you do die, but you are reborn. But what your last regret or your last thought before you died, you act upon it. So in this case, when Suna wanted to confess to Kyoko, he had that regret. That was his last thought, his last regret before he died. And so he acted upon it. So obviously it breaks down all barriers, it breaks down all restrictions that you place on both your body physically and mentally and so forth, and you're only focusing on the tasks that you had before your immediate death. But that's the only way it can work, because quickly Suna realizes that if he was to get shot, as Reborn is explaining to him, that if he was to get shot by that bullet with no regret whatsoever, it will just act like a regular bullet. It'll just be a regular gun shooting at its target and ending its target. And Suna would legitimately die. He won't be reborn. He won't be rebirthed. He won't come back to life. He would be a dead 14-year-old boy, and we would never have the 409 chapters later on. So now Suna is panicking because he thinks his get out of jail free card, which is the dying will bullet, was going to come and save him a second time. And that was not the case. But one theme throughout the entire chapter that actually carries on with Suna's character, and I just realized this as I go back to read from the daily life arc, and I never realized it happened so early on, is that Suna carries this humbleness about him. So as they're playing the game, and of course, again, this is regular Suna on a daily basis, so it's no good Suna. He's terrible playing the game. And then he tells everyone, oh, he gives an excuse like, oh, I twisted my ankle during the match with Machida, and let me just go quickly to the restroom and sorry, and try to ease the pain or anything. And then he sees his teammates all banged up, and then he's like, I'm making excuses for myself. And Reborn is watching everything that is happening and realizes the change in Tsuna's character. And that, like I said, is something that Tsuna carries on for the remaining of the series. It's this humbleness, this part about him that when it comes to situations, sticky situations, terrible situations for Tsuna, from this point on, he doesn't allow it to get to his head that every victory he accomplishes, it gets to his head. No, he takes it and he learns from it. And he quickly does that in this chapter. And because of that, Reborn is very proud of Tsuna. So therefore, he shoots him in both his legs. Not with a dying will bullet, but it is the jumping bullet. So, this was the guy before Hinata Shoyo, because when he went back to the match and he was springing up like a young spring, getting the ball. Of course, by the end of the chapter, the class won. You saw Tsuna learn a valuable lesson that not every victory, like, it's good to feel victorious. It's good to have that win, to win the battle and everything, but you never let it get to your head. You take that as an experience to lead you to do better the next time. And in a way, it should be able to humble you. You get better, but you also must be humbled by it. And you see that Reborn noticed that. And I'm assuming, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but I think this is what made Tsuna so different compared to his past predecessors. It's because of that humbleness in his character. Not only that, we got a incoming character. He's one of my favorite characters. He's going to be introduced in the next chapter. So for anyone that never read Katekyo Hitman Reborn, yeah, this is his right hand. His right hand, and he's going to be introduced in the next chapter. Now, in regards to how I'm going to review the series from now on, I'm gonna be real with you. The daily life arc is very repetitive. Many of the gags and the comedy itself repeats so much that it quickly becomes stale. So what I'm going to do going forward is I'm going to do double chapter reviews, but more so on the characters that are important to the entire story. So next chapter is going to be a double review between Gokudera Hayato, Yamamoto Takashi, and every character that is important to Tsuna's entourage, familia, his guardians, and every other character that's going to be important in several arcs. They are first introduced in this very first arc. So once I get past those characters, then I'll jump into the first major arc of the series, which is, if I remember correctly, the name Kyoko Land arc. So that's what I'm going to do going forward. So I'm going to try to brush past the daily life arc as fast as I can to get into the first biggest arc of the series, and then from there I'll do reviews, analytical reviews as best as I can for the remaining of this series. So for anyone that has watched this video, do tell me, again, am I enticing you to start reading Reborn? And if you do, I would say just read the stories with the most important characters, and if you're watching the anime, you can just brush past the daily life arc and keep going. For all old Katekyo Hitman Reborn fans, what were some things you noticed about this chapter in regards to Tsuna's character that you never really realized the first time you read it, but now going back, you notice some things that carried on with his character arc? The links are in the description box, so you guys can go check that out. And I'm Kimmy-chan of Anime Legends, and I'll see you guys later. Ciao!